call for Justin Fields to stay in the pocket last night. He went 9 of 14 for 183 yards inside the pocket in the final 2 quarters, and really clearly seems to be coming on here right in front of our eyes. So let's unpack that for a moment, because we spent the entire top of the show yelling and screaming about the officiating, and frankly, there's more to be said about that, and we will.
That was fun, though.
But there have been a lot of words on this program spoken about Justin Fields and his development and everything else. So what are the appropriate words to say, Jeff, Saturday this morning?
Matt Nagy for Coach of the Year! Whoa! We just brought him on! Swag, dude, you just saw it. He's back on the sideline. He threw from within the pocket. What? You know, everybody's screaming, get him out of the pocket. And then Himbo brings us up in the pocket, 12 of 18. I mean, can we give a little love to Coach Nagy? You know it as your favorite coach, Swagoo.
Nagy, Visor champ. Let's go, Visor champ.
Go ahead.
I see you, Nagy.
Swagoo, your thoughts?
Y'all stupid, man. That's why I love y'all, man. Y'all stupid. Listen, hey, here's the thing, man. First of all, I'm with you. Shout out to Matt Nagy, whatever the hell he did to put the plan together. I know he was cursing a lot. Probably should have got some taunting penalties talking to the refs like he was talking to them. But here's the thing. What I loved about Justin Fields yesterday, and Greasy and Lou Riddick and Steve talked about it during the game, during the telecast, is that he was not indecisive when it was time to go. He was leaving the pocket when that opportunity presented itself instead of trying to stay in there and prove something. They said that last night, and you could see that start to take an effect on the defense in the secondary. They start paying attention to that, and those deep plays were there. His accuracy, look, that was a great throw on the touchdown, and that's a great throw we showing on the sideline. But that one over the middle to Cole Kmet, that was the throw of the game. Yeah. When he fitted that rock in there, I think that's when Justin realized, you know what, I can do what I can do against this defense. It was a phenomenal performance. And guess what, y'all? Guess what? When we were talking about the Bears earlier this year, Justin Fields is coincidentally getting better at quarterback by playing quarterback.
Oh, wow, that's nice. And he's making good decisions. It's almost like he's being coached well. It's weird. It's a weird thing happening out there. But I do think that his athleticism and his running ability forces the teams to play simple coverages like cover 3. That throw that you saw, the Cole Kmet throw, like that's because he knew the coverage before the play, because they can't play man against him. He knows what's going to happen.
And you know what this looks like? It looks like him at Ohio State. If you watch Big Ten football, you know that while he is as athletic as just about any quarterback we have in the league, he's not a runner.
You think?
That's not what he.
You think?
But Marcus, that's not what he did in college, and that's not what he does now. He's playing from the pocket. He has the ability to run with the football when it presents itself. But he was never one who just would take off and run the way we see a lot of other quarterbacks do. That genuinely, Marcus, is not who he was in college.
Yeah, that's not who he was in college, because T.J. Watt wasn't across the line of scrimmage. Look, Justin Fields has learned, and it's funny, it's ironic that he talked about the speed of the game, and people took it out of context. He was comparing his defense, seeing his defense to the rest of the league. But he understands now the speed of the game is different, and he has a trait available to him that can make defenses slow down. And I think he's starting to understand that. To that point, when you look at Justin Fields, any young quarterback, Trevor Lawrence got better when he started escaping the pocket. We see Mac Jones moving around and maneuvering in the pocket and evading the rush outside of trying to twist people's ankles off, but that's another conversation for another day. But when you see these young quarterbacks, the light starts to go off with them when they realize my athleticism can force defenses to do what I want them to do. And then you begin to develop in the pocket. This is a maturation process that we watching. Justin did a phenomenal job. And might I add, that was the damn Pittsburgh Steelers defense. That wasn't a run-of-the-mill type of unit that he was playing against and was able to get 27 on the board.
Grass.
And the other thing is he was down 14 going into the fourth quarter and brought him back. Now, we know he has the traits to play the position, but that's another trait that's going to get his team to believe in him. I've been covering the Patriots the last couple weeks, talking to their players about Mac Jones. They keep saying the New Orleans loss, the way he fought to the end, that was part of what helped them buy in on Mac Jones. The same kind of thing going to happen with a young quarterback like Justin Fields.
Listen, the game is slowing down for him. And when you watch quarterbacks begin to truly ascend, it slows down, whether in the pocket, out of the pocket. He's seeing pre-snap read, he's seeing post-snap read. All the game is slowing down, and he is taking full advantage.
You know what Mac Jones and Justin Fields have in common? They've played played monster games in their career. Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn played. They met each other in the national championship game. So while they're learning the pro game, the moment is not going to be too big for them.
They're both playing for outstanding coaches, which really helps.
It is Matt Nagy Appreciation Day. But wait, Swagoo, it's about to get even worse.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.